What's up, nerds and nerdettes and wee little nerdlings all? It's your buddy Big Johnny G, the two-gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming! And we are back with another Midday Monologue Monday. So this was a thought that crossed my mind, and I know that some of my viewers are board game collectors and reviewers yourselves, and it goes out mainly to you, but to anyone that has more than enough games that you can't always get to in time. You know what I mean? A little bit too many games and not enough time, because it's a weird title, but I decided to call this Midday Monologue Monday the Quondam Champions. Because this is about games that can sometimes get forgotten when you have such a large collection, but they don't deserve to be forgotten. Some real gems lost in the folds. So why don't we go down the table and we'll talk about this, because I want to know what you think about it as well.
Shut up and sit down.
All right, so Midday Monologue Monday. What I've been having on my mind is the games that I own that I love playing, but I can't find the time or the space or the players or the size of the board. There's multiple reasons. But these are games that I really love to play, but I can't as much as I want. So I thought we would just talk about these Quondam champions. Quondam, like sometimes. Because they're sometime champions because they're only able to get to the table sometimes. Every time they get to the table, trust me, it is freaking awesome. So, I mean, I know not everyone that watches these videos, these episodes of ours, is as much a collector as myself. Oregon Al's got a nice collection himself at his place. A lot of just casual board game collectors. But not everyone is. Some people are really into it. And some people are really into it, but they don't have enough space, so it's not as big as everyone else's, but it's as best as they can do, and that's awesome. But now, as far as the gaming goes, I've noticed over the last few years that there are certain games that I love and the 20-Sided Warriors love, but we almost never get a chance to get them to the table. And as a diehard tabletop adventurer, I honestly feel like that's a crime or a sin. But not every game can make it to the table when you want. And there's several different reasons why. I'm gonna hit on 3 of them. And if there's another reason I missed, please put it in the comments section, and let's start a discussion about this. So yeah, I'm just gonna go over the 3 reasons that I find most often a great game just misses the table for game day. A couple of examples in each of these 3 categories. There's no numbering system. It's not like the best 10, or well, I guess in this case the worst 10, or some 10. Not doing it like that. First of all, and I think maybe I put this of the 3, I think I put this one first on the list because I love these games so much. They harken back to my role-playing roots. And those are the big campaign games. You know, the board games that are of epic scale and size. And you get characters that you continue to use and will level up, whether the system you're using is using a number leveling system, like a Dungeons and Dragons style game, or whether it's using more of a skill and talent improvement system to simulate improving. You know what I mean, I hope. No, and these games, they tend to go on because, as they're called, they're campaign games. So you're not going to be sitting there at the table for 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 hours for game day or game night and then be like, okay, it's done. No, you're going to be sitting there for 2, 4, 6, 8 hours and be like, okay, that chapter's done. See everyone next week, or 2 weeks, or next month, or however it is you get along together, you know? These games go on, just like an RPG. Now, I have trouble getting these games to the table for the same reason I have trouble getting RPGs to the table these days, and that's schedule, real life, time. It's not the same as it was in the 70s and 80s when I was a kid, obviously. Not just because of the time period, but because I was a kid. I never believed my old man when I was little, and he would tell me, son, these are the best and the freest times of your life. Appreciate them. And no kid believes that hears it. Whether you heard it from your dad or an uncle or mom or someone at your school or even from me from the first time. The sadness of it is, it's true. As we get older, our time is not our own anymore. To a degree that I never would have understood when I was 8, 10 years old. So it's hard to get people together for a continued storyline. Because the further the time period is apart, that big fracture in time, that huge space in between, really does suck a lot. At least for me, a lot. Maybe for you a little, but for me, it sucks a lot of that atmosphere out, and the feeling and the sensation, the theme. It just all starts to collapse after such a long period of time. And it makes it difficult. So some of these games in my personal collection that I feel fall under this category that we really want to get to the table more often. Actually all three. I didn't notice this when I wrote it down. I looked at my shelf and I was like, yeah, that. Okay, that's a good 3 because that's a solid 3 that I honestly feel about. And it didn't even occur to me. All 3 of the thoughts I had on this category are by final. I always do that. It was by Fantasy Flight Games. Well, they do make massive, sprawling, fairly good, depending on your opinion. I think sometimes I think even great storyline games. I guess it makes sense that wanting to put 3 on the list, that would be 3 that I found. Imperial Assault, Descent, at least 2nd edition that I have. I never played first, but I imagine it would fall into the same category. And Battlestar Galactica. That's not really a campaign, but if you're playing that really cutthroat, it can go on more than 6 hours. Not maybe all the time, but it definitely falls into that category. But Imperial Assault and Descent a lot more. Because these are the levels you're going up, the skills you're going up, I think is a stronger representation than in Battlestar. But the point is to get these games to the table for a good, consistent run and feel is way difficult. And yeah, the Imperial Assault has the skirmish mode, but I'm not a skirmish player. I tried it a few times, it's fun, but that's not why I bought the game. I bought it to experience Star Wars. I bought Descent to experience a really good, deep sort of D&D game. And they're hard to get to the table. We love these games. They're great games. Just because they're not played a lot doesn't reflect how cool they are. And that's how I feel that with every game in this category, and every game you would put in this category too. Now, another part of this, and actually the previous 3 games kind of fall into this category as well. Battlestar more, I think, is Bigfoot games. Bigfoot games. Games with huge footprints, that take up such a massive amount of the table. Now, it's not just because of the huge size of these games, but in most cases, it goes hand in hand with setup time, is what I'm trying to get to. Because there's so many fiddly things, so many decks of cards. Sometimes, like in an Imperial Assault game, you have to have decks set up and made, like your Imperial deck, all decided on beforehand and before the game starts, and it adds on to the setup time, on top of the fact that, wow, there's not a lot of room at the table right now. And that kind of puts off for a game sometimes when you know, someone that has a large collection can pull something smaller that's arguably equally as fun. So it kind of prevents those games. Eldritch Horror, that's Eldritch Horror. I love Eldritch Horror. The story feel that gets built up with each individual Elder deck. I love the time that they went in with this, that they spent to make this, and all the little stories that were written. It brings it alive to me. Whoa, jeez, what a setup time! And it's huge. Shadows of Brimstone. Shadows of Brimstone, right there. Absolutely love it. Partially because of the Western theme and mixing it with the Cthulhu, because I really love the mixed genre ideas and concepts. But it takes a long time to set up, and especially if you're playing with one, or even worse, an entire group. I don't mean worse like bad. I just mean time-wise. With an entire group that doesn't even have characters yet. I mean, it's not as time-consuming as making a character for like 3rd edition D&D can be. But still, it's going to add on to the setup time. It's going to add on to taking away from the actual tabletop adventuring sensation. And then my favorite game, especially in the category of big board games and sandbox games, is Fallen Land. Post-apocalyptic gold, I'm telling you. And but we haven't gotten it to the table as much as we want because of these reasons. This huge footprint and huge setup time. And I kind of think that falls into the next category a little bit as well. Because the third category is player counts. Some games that you really love work best, or some of them only, with a certain player count. And if you have too many or too little, it's either not going to play well or you can't play it at all. As far as games with big player counts, I can't always get to the table because I don't have 5 or more players at the time to do this. Would be Shadows of Camelot. I mean, there it is, Shadows of Camelot. I mean, it's no secret. It's never been a secret how much I love the Arthur cycle. It's fantastic. The Knights of the Round Table. I loved it as a child. It was the first fantasy concepts I think I remember seeing as a kid. And I love that game. But I don't know, if you have less than 5 people, I think it works best with an odd number. And I think that the lowest odd number you can have for it to make it really good is 5. Battlestar Galactica falls into a lot of categories. That's why we don't play it that much. Good game though. The Thing. You can't see it in the count. The Thing, Infection at Outpost 31, based on the John Carpenter movie, The Thing from Outer Space. Great game. But I think it falls in the same category. You want at least a minimum of 5, an odd number, to make it work. Other than that, it can be okay. You can play it with 4, but it's not going to be nearly as much fun, in my opinion. 2 dice games I love, Bang and Infighting. And the same thing, if I have less than 5, and I think they both only play up to 6, but if I have less than 5, I'm not as psyched to play it. And there's no reason why I shouldn't be psyched, because I love these games. They're 2 of my favorite dice games. Dior and Bemused. we love these backstabbing, take-that style games. Devious Weasels delivers on that with both of these titles. But again, 4 is like the minimum we would play with, but we know we're going to have more fun with 5. It's hard to get time to get to the table, even if it's not for a campaign. And, there's small numbers too. I almost forgot. I made a little note there. See, make notes. Small, not just games with big numbers, but like Odin's Ravens, Agamemnon, the 2 games by Osprey that shine, absolutely shine. They're 2 players only. Specifically, you can't even solo them. They're made head to head. And that's one of the reasons why I love them so much, because that just makes the whole strategy so much different than when you're trying to strategize against 4 or 5 people. It's more of a, it's such more of a man on man, almost like chess, in the sense that you're facing your opponent alone, by yourself, by his or herself. Yeah, it's a feeling to that. And Eldritch Horror, besides being so huge and having a setup time, because the game can run so long, I never want to play with more than 4 players. And I'd actually prefer to play with 3 active people as players. But I think we'd still use a minimum of 4 characters. But yeah, 3 players. Even though the number count would be the same, with only 3 players running them, decisions are made faster. So that'll help speed things up a little bit. But yeah, so it's not just needing a big number of players, but sometimes you can't get a game to the table because you have too many players. And those are some of the ideas I was having on the 3 top reasons it seems that me and the 20-Sided Warriors can't get all the games we want to play to the table as much as we want to. So I want to hear your thoughts and ideas on this. Have you ever encountered a problem where there was a game you and your buddies wanted to play, but there's a reason why you can never get it to the table? Come on, let us know. All right, thank you for checking us out here. We love seeing everyone going over to our Facebook, and our Instagram, and our Twitter accounts. It's so massively cool. Thank you very much. And we got the Zazzle store, and we're rocking that out with some cool merchandise, like this shirt right here. And maybe there's something you're gonna like over there. Never know. Doesn't hurt to look. And thank you everyone for checking us out on YouTube over here. You subscribe to the channel. You comment. You like everything. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, that's about it. I'm your buddy Big Johnny G. The Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming. And my friends, I am out of here.